Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Inshallah, I'm going to present Grammar Unit 4. Grammar Unit 4 is about the conditionals. Start with the first one, zero conditional. Let's read these examples. If you put an apple in a bowl of water, the apple floats. If you burn yourself, it hurts. Or when you burn yourself, it hurts. If you heat water, it boils. All these examples express, they express facts. It represents habits or facts. As this example, when I am bored, I watch TV. This is a habit. So it's about general truth or scientific facts. Concerning the form, if you look at the sentence, you can guess the form. Yes, good. If present simple, present simple. As for the first conditional, throughout these examples, let's see. If it rains, we want to go to the beach. It means that we can go to the beach if the weather is fine. So an action depends on another action. And we can use unless for the negative meaning. Unless it rains, we can go to the beach. And unless here means if it doesn't rain, we can go to the beach. So, concerning the meaning, here we are about action that may happen in the present or in the future. Concerning the form, if present simple, this is the first part. The second, you may find will, may, can, plus bare infinitive, as you know. In the first conditional, we can use some phrases instead of if. We can use as long as, provided that, providing that, in case, in that case, suppose or supposing, as these examples. Supposing it rains, I will stay at home. It means if it rains, I will stay at home. We will win the match as long as we cooperate. It means we will win the match if we cooperate. Yes, let's see your answers. Who can do the first one? Yes, good. If you study hard, you will get high marks. Excellent. Second one. Perfect. If he runs fast, he will win the race. The third. Wonderful. If you play well, you may win the match. The last one. Fantastic. If he needs a mobile, he can borrow mine. Let's see these examples. If your father comes, good, tell me. If your father comes, tell me. If he phones, don't answer. So here we can use, instead of will, may, and can, we can use the imperative form. If your father comes, tell me. If he phones, don't answer. If present simple as usual, but the second part imperative. And of course imperative means the bare infinitive or don't plus infinitive. These are to give instructions or orders. Second condition. Let's see these examples. If we had a car, we would drive to Paris. Here it means, good. It means that we don't have a car, so we cannot drive to Paris. So, if someone tried to kidnap me, I would defend myself. So here, is it a real or unreal situation? Yes, good. It's unreal situation. I just suppose if someone tried to kidnap me, I would defend myself. If I dyed my hair green, nobody would recognize me anymore. But my hair now is not green. Unless you pass the test, you wouldn't get the driving license. In type 2, also you can use unless instead of if, and the same, it gives the negative meaning. Unless you passed, it means if you didn't pass. If you didn't pass, you wouldn't get the driving license. So it expresses an imaginary situation, untrue in the present, or unlikely to happen. This is the second condition. As you see the form, yes, good. It's past simple. If we had, past simple. If someone tried, past simple. If I dyed my hair, past simple. The second part, would, might, or could, bare infinitive. Okay, let's challenge. Yes, the first one. Yes, good. If I had a lot of money, I would buy the jacket. Good. The second one. Yes, it needs a brilliant one. Perfect. If I were taller, I would play basketball. The third one. If I saw a snake, I would run away. Good. The last one. Let's see. If I knew French, I could understand the tourist. Perfect, all of you. Let's see this example. If I were you, I would call the doctor immediately. What do you think about it? Is it unreal situation, or imaginary situation, or advice? Good. It's advice. So, you can use were or if I were you to give advice. And we usually use were instead of was. The third conditional. Let's see these examples. If I had left earlier, I wouldn't have arrived late. The question is, did he leave earlier? Yes, good. He didn't leave earlier. So, if I had left earlier, I wouldn't have arrived late. The second one. I wouldn't have got angry if you had told the truth. The same question. Did he tell the truth? No, he didn't tell the truth. So, I wouldn't have got angry if you had told the truth. If I had had enough money, I would have bought a BMW. Of course, here I didn't have enough money. And the same for the last one. If he had told us he was coming over, we would have prepared something to eat. Of course, he didn't tell us he was coming over. So here we talk about an imaginary result of things that didn't happen or happened in the past. We also use these sentences to express criticism or regret. So here we are sorry or we feel regret about actions that happened or didn't happen in the past. Concerning the form, yes, can you get it? Yes, good. If, past perfect. Then we can use would have pp, might have pp, could have pp. Now rewrite the following sentences giving the same meaning. The first one, I didn't study well. That's why I failed the exam. Take care, both of the two sentences are in the past form. So this is directly the third condition. Who can? Yes, good. If I had studied well, I wouldn't have failed the exam. Next one. I couldn't go to work yesterday as I was sick. Use if. So which type is it? Good, type 3. Why? Yes, because it's past. If I hadn't been sick yesterday, I would have gone to work. The last one. She didn't make pizza because she didn't have any flour. Use would. The same, yes. If she had had flour, she would have made pizza. Now let's move to the student's book. Open it, page 50 and 51. Ready? Here we have some sentences of if and their meanings, and you are asked here to match them. Okay, to save time. Okay, the first one, if you heat water it boils. Yes, good, it's letter D. It represents general truth or scientific facts. The second one, if you hear the alarm, get onto the deck quickly. It's B, giving instructions. Yes. The third one, if I see someone trying to break in, I will call the police. Which one is it? Good, it's E, action likely to happen in the present or future. If I saw someone trying to break in, I would call the police. Here it's past. If I saw, I would call the police. So which one? Excellent, A, untrue condition or situation in the present. 5. If I were you, I'd call the police. Perfect, it's F, giving advice. And the last one, of course, if I had seen someone trying to break in, I would have called the police. C, it represents imaginary situation contrary to the facts in the past. Now to exercise number 5. We want to rewrite these sentences using if, and all of them in the third condition. The first one is already done. A house burned down. A young boy was playing with matches. So, if the young boy hadn't been playing with matches, the house wouldn't have burned down. Yes, who can do the second one? The town was flooded. The dam burst. Yes, good. If the dam hadn't burst, the town wouldn't have been flooded. The third one. 2 cars collided on the road. One of the drivers had been drinking. Yes, use if. Perfect. If one of the drivers hadn't been drinking, the 2 cars wouldn't have collided on the road. Number 4. A cyclist was seriously injured by a car at night. The cyclist had no lights on his bicycle. If the cyclist had had lights on his bicycle, the driver would have seen him and he wouldn't have been injured. The last one. A garage exploded. A man threw his cigar out of the window of his car. So, yes? Wonderful, good. If the man hadn't thrown his cigar out of the window of his car, the garage wouldn't have exploded. Exercise 6. Now we want to use unless. The first one already done. If you don't have a map, you will lose your way. So, unless you have a map, you will lose your way. So, whenever we use unless, we omit the negative form. So, if you don't, unless you have a map. Let's see the second one. If we don't transmit a message now, it will be too late. Yes? Good. Unless we transmit a message now, it will be too late. 3. If the windscreen isn't clear, how can the driver see? So here, unless the windscreen is clear, how can the driver see? If you don't wear warm clothes, you will get cold. Yes? Wonderful. Unless you wear warm clothes, you will get cold. As you see, we always omit the negative word. If we don't refill our air tanks, we will suffocate. So unless we refill our air tanks, we will suffocate. Exercise number 7. We want here to put the verbs in the correct tense. The first one. If we lived in a well-built house, we in danger. We have to focus here on the verb in if sentence. It's past, so this is the second type. So who can do it? Good. Wouldn't be. Number 2. The car not roll back as long as you put the brake on. You remember? As long as, the same as if. Let's see the next verb. Put. Present. So here, won't roll. The car won't roll. Number 3. You might cut yourself if you. Yes, who can? Yes, good. Play. If you play with knives, you might cut yourself. This is type 1. I would always wear a helmet if you. This is an advice. Yes, who can? Good. If I were you, I would always wear a helmet. 5. If you'd locked the medicine up, he not drink it. Here, the apostrophe D and locked. Yes, good. Had looked. So this is type 3. So he, good, wouldn't have drunk. Supposing, and supposing, as we said, the same as if. Supposing you get stuck in the lift, what will you do? Focus on the second part. Will you do? So it's type 1. So, yes, easy, simple. Get. If he to the weather forecast, he wouldn't have sailed in such a stormy weather. Yes, who can do this? It needs a brilliant one. Excellent. Had listened, because here we have wouldn't have sailed. Type 3. What you do if there was an emergency landing? The same, we focus on the second part. If there was. So here past. So it's type 2. So what? Good. What would you do? If you hear the alarm, head for the exit. You remember this one? This is the instruction form. Yes? Good. Head for. If you hear the alarm, head for the exit. The last one, if he had been driving more carefully, he avoid the accident. Let's focus on the first part. If he had been, what tense is it? Good, past perfect. So, would have avoided. Excellent. Now exercise number 9. Exercise number 9, it depends on your ideas, but you have to focus on which type of if is it. So, if he had had a whistle, this is type 3, he would have used it. If the driver had seen the dog, had seen, past perfect. So, the same, type 3. Would have, could have, might have, and so on. If you drive carefully, drive, present simple. So this is the first one. If you drive carefully, you will be safe, for example. Okay, these are some suggested answers. You can resort to them if you want to do this exercise alone. The last point, we can omit if, we can cancel if. So first conditional, we can cancel if and use should, as this example. If you see her, ask her to come to the party. Yes, we can start with should. Excellent. Should you see her, ask her to come to the party. So first conditional, we start with should instead of if. Type 2, can you guess what should we start with? Yes, we start with were. As this example, if I were you, I wouldn't pay anything. Use were. Just remove if and inversion. Do an inversion between I and were, like this. Where are you? I wouldn't pay anything. So here in type 2 we start with were. In type 3, can you guess? Yes, good. Had. Third conditional, we start with had, as this example. If I had had the money, I would have bought the car. Yes, start with had. Brilliant. Had I had the money, I would have bought the car. All of them come before the subject. We start with them. Should you, were I, had I. If you study hard, you will get high marks. So, should you study hard, you will get high marks. Yes, who can do the second one? If he runs fast, he will win the race. You should. Good. Should he run fast, he will win the race. Take care in the second example. Here we have runs, if he runs fast. But when we started with should is always followed by infinitive. So should he run? If I were you, I would study hard. Yes, who can? Yes, where are you? I would study hard. Let's see this example. If I knew French, I'd understand the tourist. Here we don't have where, but we will start with where. How can we do this? Yes, who can try? Yes, no, not like this. Another try? Yes, that's it. Were I to know French, I would understand the tourist. Another example. If I saw a snake, I would run away. Yes, start with where. Try to imitate the first example. Good. Were I to see a snake, I would run away. So here the form is where, subject to infinitive. Thanks. Let's see this example. If I had known, I would have visited you. Here we will start with good, had. Had I known, I would have visited you. What about this example? If they had played well, they would have won. Yes, who can start with had? Perfect. Had they played well, they would have won. So the form is start with had, the subject followed by PP, then subject would have PP. Now let's practice. Rewrite the sentences using inversion. If someone tries to break in, call the police. So this is type 1 because here we have tries. present simple. Should someone try to break in, call the police. The second one, if I were you, I'd hire a bodyguard. So here, who can do it? Yes, very good. Were I you, I would hire a bodyguard. Third one, if he had left off flares, they would have spotted him. Yes, who can? Good. Had he left off flares, they would have spotted him. Number 4. If you see smoke, activate the alarm. Very good. Should you see smoke, activate the alarm. The last one. If she hadn't gone through the traffic lights, she wouldn't have hit the pedestrian. Take care, because here we have the negative form of had. So who can do it? Perfect. Had she not gone through the traffic lights, she wouldn't have hit the pedestrian. Thank you, my dear students. Inshallah, we will meet again in the next part of this lesson about wishes. Thank you.